Hello and welcome to The Creative Process. I'm Elliot Weiner and I'll be your host today for this special edition. I've had the pleasure of working with the editor, producer, and videographer of the show for the last few years. Today we're going to meet him, Paul Turner, the man behind the show. Paul, welcome to your own show.
Well, thanks for having me on my own show. Can't think of a better place to be.
I'm sure you're going to be one of our best guests ever.
Thanks.
Today we're going to look back at the 3 years of The Creative Process. We'll look at many of the artists who've been on the show, and we'll also talk to Paul about his own creative process in putting this wonderful show together. The Creative Process show started in January 2006 with Joe Brecka of the Clay Art Center. He showed us how to throw pots. From there we met Choling Taha and the stories her artwork conveys. Mark Rogers showed us Mount Rainier in a wonderful oil painting on canvas. Shirley Morris was in deep with her 3D art. Tim Beeman, a graphite artist, shared with us his incredible Native American portraits. Paul, we're interested in your own creative process. What was the purpose of the show when you started?
I've always been interested in how stuff works. And the purpose of this show is to focus on different Northwest artists and what they go through when they're creating their own work from beginning to end.
Then the Creative Process visited with Fred Oldfield at the Western Heritage Museum at the Puyallup Fairgrounds, where he was teaching some great kids how to paint a mural.
My name is
Mary Johnson got abstract with acrylics and a water bottle. Then we got to see Tis Huberth teach us about layering with acrylics. Paul, do you have any favorite artists?
Actually, I do. The teamwork that I saw from the gaffers at the Museum of Glass was pretty incredible. And fire and molten glass is always cool.
Mary Ruth Koch gave us some insight about painting bears and brushstrokes. Tanya Lemma painted some dramatic skies and watercolor. We visited with Asian-influenced artist Nola Treslar. She showed us stained papers. For all those eagle lovers out there, Betty Wise carved out an awesome eagle. Paul, what's it been like to produce this show over the last 3 years?
As a producer, I have to find the artist, and then I have to convince them that being on television is not going to be as nerve-wracking as they might think. And then I also have to ask them to do a demo for me. Sometimes it's throwing pots or it's painting a picture. And then I ask them questions while they're creating their work. I ask them, what is it they're feeling when they're creating the work? Do they maybe touch a childhood memory, or do they actually get into their picture, into the scene, and feel like they're somewhere else? I also get to ask them other questions like, what do they want other people to feel when they see their work? And that usually gets them to think a little bit and get in touch with their creative side as what they want the public to see from their work. I've been behind the camera for 10 years, and my creative process is putting the show together, is taking the artist and their demonstration and their answers and put them together in like a 6 or 7 minute segment to play inside of another show called Around Here. And it's been really an honor and a privilege to do this show.
We got political with Stuart Neiman as he showed us his process for political cartoon work. We spoke with some young artists from Tacoma's first juried art show. Illustrator Andrea Trenbeth Lowen drew a dinosaur in charcoal for us. Then Pacific Northwest artist Paul Langston painted a rustic barn in oils. We visited with Angel Ramirez, who is a pen and ink artist. He talked with us about walking into his pictures. Oil painter Karen Lucas educated us on painting the eye of the wave. Another oil painter, Kay Lofton, spoke with us about her experiences over the past years. Then we met with the Queen of Abstract, Lynn Danino, as she was creating some interesting papier-mâché. Kevin Keating quickly showed us the bronze process, more fire and molten stuff. Kasha Wilk from Lux.com showed us some of her techniques for cake decorating and making roses. And last but not least of the touchable mediums is Ann Knapp. She spent some time showing us her pastel work. Now let's get more visual. This last summer, the show went outside in a big way. We talked with Tim Weber of Tim Weber Air Shows. He took us on a G-pulling ride during the Freedom Fair Air Show. Wow. Paul, tell us about one of your most challenging segments.
Well, this last summer I had the opportunity to work with Lauren Nelson, who was the head pyrotechnician for the Tacoma Freedom Fair 4th of July festivities down in Commencement Bay. an opportunity to see behind the scenes of what it's like to put together a show like that with some 300 shells ranging in size from 4 inches to 12 inches. Some of those 12 inches were really mind-blowing. They shook the entire barge that we were on. I was actually running 3 cameras at the same time, trying to shoot the Freedom Fair, shooting the fireworks in the sky, shooting the fireworks coming out of the mortars, and then taking digital pictures of myself with my digital camera. Really, I did.
We can't forget the last episode, the North American Eagle jet car. These guys are just a little nuts. Their plan is to take this old F-104 jet plane and break the land speed record of 763 miles an hour. They believe they can do 800 miles an hour or even faster, and I wouldn't bet against them. Paul, what would you like to tell the people at home regarding their own creative process?
Thanks, Elliot. What I'd like to tell people at home is to find something that you like to do, something that makes you feel good on the inside. Don't do it because someone else says you have to or you ought to. And if you could find something that lets you be creative and you get paid for it, well, that's truly a gift beyond all measure.
If you want to participate in the creative process, send us an email at thecreativeprocess@comcast.net.